This is going to be a case study from a national park, a Hungarian national park, which is also a World Heritage Site. But in the category, under the criteria of cultural assets. So this is the cultural landscape, actually. And what we, Hortobágy National Park is since 1999 World Heritage Site. But in 1997, we have, the park managers, those people, especially the ecologists, we already had the idea that we should support in the largest natural grassland of Europe. We should do something to support the natural processes of these kind of open lowland ecosystems. So that's why in 1997 we have initiated the Pentezug Project. Pentezug is the name of one of our Bustard areas. This name Bustard, maybe Polish colleagues for sure familiar with this, they call it Bustard, which means originally an empty place. A place without people around, so there's nobody around. They call their forests, the Polish, Bustard, Augustowska, Białowieżka. So this is the name, this is the origin. So this is not this is not a real wilderness project, so wilderness should be put between quotation marks, but the vision and the vision of the management and the vision of the future of the area was to support natural processes in a national park. Although this is a little bit against not a little bit, it's very much against the World Heritage criteria under which the national park is inscribed on the World Heritage list, but it takes place at the moment only on 5% of the national park grassland area, so it is really not a significant. So we have enough space, how to say, to have this project there. I always envy those people who work in mountains. You know, they have a fantastic potential in the highest areas to save, to protect the natural processes, geological and whatever, because nobody is interested in that. I mean, in terms of use, there is no interest in that. There are also remote places which are not easily accessible, also forests which are not easily accessible, but we could see some examples that they are, and there can be a threat for the ecological, for the natural processes to go on. But what about this? What about the lowland? And I'm talking about the lowland, which in the last 12,000 years was never a forest. Here in this part of Europe, I'm talking about the Hungarian lowland and the Hortobágy region. When the last ice age was finished, then the taiga, which was there, we didn't have the ice coverage there. The taiga has turned immediately into wormwood, artemisia, turned into a steppe due to the specific conditions, especially in the climate and the soil conditions. And this damages to the grassland surface were not made by humans, were not made by domestic animals which are raised by the humans. This is just to highlight the importance of natural, of wild graziers, browsers who use. This was not made by wild boars at all, but by these animals, by the cranes, which come each autumn. And we used to have 100,000 in October in the park, and they can do such things for the grassland. So there's all that in the last 12,000 years, even before any kind of Homo sapiens appeared in these areas, there were wild animals which were grazing, which were browsing, and they were using this grassland as a food resource for themselves, for their populations. Okay, a few words just quickly where we are. It's the Hortobágy is the wet steppe of Europe. I'm jealous with mountaineers, with those people who work in the mountains. But the national park is 80,000 hectares big, and the biggest relief difference between the highest and lowest natural point is only 4.5 meters. So it's a completely flat area. But we ecologists, we started to dream 20 years ago, or even for even a longer time, and we wanted to do something unique here. We wanted to do something, special management. So for these areas, this is on the soil, is on the top of the soil is mostly silicate and also alkaline. These are alkaline steppes, and these look like this in springtime. A few words just quickly about the landscape evolution. As I said, it is according to the latest studies of the past 20 or 30 years, pollen analytical and also sedimentological and many other kinds of studies of marshes. Here the broadleaf forests, oak, ash forests occur only in the banks of bigger water courses, and the pollen analytic studies prove that the pollen composition of these areas is similar to those in Mongolia and Kazakhstan, and also in China. And also there are archaeological evidences of wild ungulates, wild horses, aurochs. This is a study from the Carpathian Basin, not only aurochs, but hemio species, which is called onager, I think the other name. So these are rather steppe species in the area. Even if you ask them, who was the big predator here? There must have been a predator here on this huge amount of ungulates, and there are archaeological findings or paleoecological findings, not from the Hortobágy region, but from the Hungarian Great Plain, of the Persian subspecies of the lion, which is already dead. So it exists. Okay, does not exist anymore. Extinct subspecies of the lion. Okay, a few words about the park. It has a strange shape, stupid shape, but this is a zonation from the end of the 90s. It has changed, but it's for sure this area, the Pentezug area, is still a core zone, an A zone. I cannot say that it's a non-managed natural zone, because obviously it is managed, but not, I think it's a process. So it is not managed as, how to say, as intensively, much less managed than the green, but which we call the managed natural zone. So this is the Pentezug, area. We already established, or on the way to establish a buffer zone around the park, which will also serve as a transitional zone for the biosphere reserve, and also as a World Heritage buffer zone around the national park. Okay, as I said, we have quite many. This park has many labels, many designations. These are the major ones. We try to, as managers, to meet all the criteria and all the challenges which these man-made legislation pieces and conventions give us. The major land categories, you can see that most of it is natural grassland. We already restored from former croplands 6,000 hectares, so that's why I'm talking about 60,000 hectares of continuous grasslands there. Okay, then the project itself, the Pentezug Project, I would highlight again, it was not started as a wilderness project. It's just, they found 2,500 hectares in the heart of the national park, which was one of the first areas which we purchased. The park directorate purchased from a state farm, which was not interested anymore in the use of the area. I mean, in the grazing by domestic animals, because it was too far away. It was very difficult to get in there. It was very difficult to find shepherds for that area. So they decided to sell it already in the mid-80s to the National Park Directorate, and in till then it was used not too frequently by some companies by this collective farm for some parts for hay cutting. So this is a 2,500 hectare area, which is surrounded by three rivers. Rivers from the west. This is the Hortobágy river on the east, and the third one on the south. In the northern part, there is a 16-kilometer long electric fence system, which was put in place in 1997, and these are the main habitat types of the kind of habitat, not a vegetation map, because as you see on one of the pictures, sometimes the vegetation plots are very tiny, so it's not really it's not really possible to make a map, a real vegetation map with plant associations there. So here how it looks like from the air, and I already, these are the wet areas, the marshes. Although you know the Hortobágy, if you've been there from the road, from the ground, it seems it's very monotonous landscape. It's just grassland and nothing else. But if you go up a bit, then you can see how diverse it is. I mean, also the mosaic patterns of these wetland and grassland complexes, because these are not all grasslands, but sometimes temporary and very few permanent water bodies there. Okay, the vegetation from the very purely vegetated places to the meadows. The white horse, Przewalski's horses preferred, like very much the flowers of Bustard. That's why they like it very much. So not a wilderness project and not a reintroduction project. I don't want to go into the details of these taxonomical debates about the European horse and the dark one and the Mongolian horse. No, it is not a reintroduction project. It's a scientific project which has definitely and obviously has advantages in terms of protected area management, in terms of management of a zone area of a national park. So in 1924, Przewalski's horses, mostly from Western European zoos, have been introduced to the area, and since then the number is of the horses is more than 300. It's 319 actually. It was according to the census last year. And the population structure is quite healthy. Don't ask me who are the others, probably my colleagues were not able to. This has nothing to do, I mean, you know, they have a stable but very low population there. So the number of females and males and stallions are pretty the same. So it's a healthy population structure. Population management, we have to deal with it actually, because in the former slide you see we had a baby boom or a fall boom. Here with exponential growth of the population. So this is not a photo from the Second World War, from the Russian steppe. know. This is one of our colleagues who can use the special gun by which we have a vaccination program very carefully planned. So by this vaccination program we can reach that those mares who are selected for this, they will be not fertile for 2 or up to 4 years in the upcoming year. So my colleagues who work on the horse population, they know each horse individual by heart, so by name. Everybody is registered. And everybody's DNA is analyzed in the Davis University in California. Also, for management reasons, we have introduced the so-called head cattle, which is called at the moment Oro, but they use completely different areas for grazing, but they are quite happy to live with each other. So we have 718 individuals in this area already. Fencing, it's always we had to do it actually, not to get mixed with the domestic horse population and also with the domestic cattle. This is out, and this is in. So obviously we haven't reached the population numbers which could fully utilize the area. There are natural disturbances on the area with which we are absolutely happy with. I have to say, this is how the area looked like in 99. Springtime. It's kind of it was about end of March, beginning of April, and then a couple of months later. So there are floods from River Hortobágy in the wet years, because there are wet years and dry years, and these changes in the weather, the seasonal changes, and also changes in each decade and each year. This is very important. For us, like the same with fire. Fires happen not only in forests but in steppes as well. It's absolutely normal. And what we have realized when in 2002 in August, the whole area burned down. All the area and even more. Altogether 6,400 hectares burned down. The horses, okay, for them it was okay, so they didn't do anything strange, but they found an area where short grass was burning, and he simply, that's what I saw with my own eyes, he simply led the mares, which were, you know, they live in harems, so stallion with as many mares as he can get for himself, and there's a big group of the bachelors who were not able to get mares for themselves yet. And so we stallion led the whole group, the whole harem. They just simply jumped over the fire and started to graze on a wet patch, which was already on the burned down side of the fire line. So that was what they did. Sometimes they have to look for, because we don't feed them. We don't feed the horses and the cattle at all. So in winter they have to find food in the area, even if there is snow on it. And this is I call it non-controlled grazing. Non-controlled means that there is no shepherd, but they go wherever they want in the area to find food. And this is true for water as well. Mostly they drink from the rivers anyway, on the borders of the area. You know, we had a habitat mapping and a quite detailed survey in 97, 20 years ago. And now, after 20 years, don't ask me why, after 20 years, but we are going to repeat it. The same methods, the same mapping technology, and we would like to see the changes. At the first look, it doesn't seem to change too many things. But what is quite obvious if you use Google Earth, which is a very good tool, this is a satellite image of one of the marshes in the area from the end of May 2003. And I'm sorry, the quality of these images is not the same, and this is from 3 weeks later in June, but in 2011. But it's quite okay. This is the open water in 2011, and 8 years before, this area was vegetated. This is absolutely due to the management of grazing done by the head cattle, because that's the place where we can study also how the grazing by domestic animals is different from the grazing and the effects on the vegetation and the whole steppe ecosystem of the grazing of wild animals which are not controlled by any herdsman or shepherd. But it's quite obvious because they are there also in winter. They're trampling, they're moving, they simply trample down the reeds, and they do very strange things according to the shepherds who work out of the fenced area. Okay, it seems that nature likes the Areal approach. The number of great bustard observations in the project area has seriously increased, and this I couldn't find the data for the recent data, but it's something like this. I mean, it's been stabilized. So much more great bustards are observed in the area than before the project was started. Okay, what is also a result, we contribute to the endangered species protection program. This is not the Hortobágy already. This is Mongolia, somewhere in the Gobi B, I think. And this is Yatsin, our stallion, who is already serves and protects there in Mongolia the wild populations. And just recently, which means that last November, there was a shipment of 15 mares to Russia, namely on the way to Orenburg, to a new protected area in the Orenburg region. So this is another very important function of the Pentezug Project. I've forgotten to tell you that this project is running in cooperation with in close cooperation with the EU, with the Colonsug, sorry, who are responsible for the species protection program of the endangered species protection program of the Przewalski's horse. Okay, and we were talking about natural disturbances. Now, some of the human disturbances, human legislation disturbances. You see the text. So the horses are considered by the authorities as wild animals. At the beginning, they wanted us to take part samples of each individual each year, just to make sure that, I mean these were the veterinarian vets authority. Then we told to the vets that, okay, then you come and show us how to do it. Because anyway, these are wild animals which cannot be, they can be immobilized, they are like they do it with the giraffes and rhinos in Africa, with that special material, liquid, of which you have one drop on your skin and you are dead in 10 minutes. That's and it's very can be very harmful also for the horses. So we said no. So now we have agreed basically with them how to manage this. But the cattle or the aurochs, they are domestic. They considered as domestic animals. Our problems, which we had to face with during the last 20 years of project implementation, as these are the contradicting rules and regulations of animal keeping, animal husbandry. So, for example, for the head cattle, for the aurochs, we have to take blood sample of each individual each year, and to tell the truth, the water. The quality of the water, what they drink, is absolutely not suitable for. Okay, I will finish. I mentioned the question of wild or domestic, which we finally agreed. The animal welfare regulations, which are sometimes also very tricky. The EU subsidies, we, of course, because the horses are wild animals, the National Park Directorate, as the manager of the area, is not eligible for subsidies for the area because it's not a grazed grassland. But based on the head cattle, actually, we are. But also, fortunately, when we created this this Pentezug Project area. At that time, Hungary was not a member to the EU, so no one was interested in the area as a pasture for domestic animals. So this was the right time to do this. Also, we would like to do, in some cases, fire management. That fire which I saw you, it was not part of the fire management, but it was not caused by natural, by lightning or something like that. It was south of the area. There was a tractor working on a hayfield, and this caused this whole fire. But we would like to do fire management, and this is at the moment not possible, unfortunately, due to the fire prevention laws and also for air quality protection reasons. So, but we need these are exemptions and special regulations for such areas. But we don't expect these kind of regulations to be in place very soon, since at the moment, also in Hungary, the sun is not shining, as it was said. We've told it is raining for in the whole nature conservation environment. But we are working for the future. This is a process. And hopefully at the end of the process, okay, even I can say that in 2020 there will be, for sure there will be a change in common agricultural policy, as they call it, and if it significantly decreases, then there will be a need probably for more areas to manage with wild animals, and then we can step out and we can establish bigger areas. At the moment we are working on extension of the area with 500 hectares, so it will be by next year a 3,000 hectare area. Sorry for using up all the time, even more. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Gábor. Any question?
Yesterday you were not so optimistic about wilderness in Hungary, but I think this is would be an excellent starting point. The question for me is, always with those steppe areas, you have with these wet steppe areas, there's always the hydrology is strongly modified. Would there be a possibility to restore the hydrology so far that it comes close to wilderness? Because then, otherwise, this would be an excellent case of a wilderness area. It is large enough, it has most of its processes restored, just possibly for hydrology, and so you're not so far away, I think, from having a steppe wilderness.
Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. As we consider two basic processes, or two basic influential factors for the whole wet steppe ecosystem. One of them is grazing itself, although nobody knows what was the grazing pressure 9,000 years ago in the area. Nobody will figure out The second is the water regime. Fortunately, by the proper use of the water regime in cooperation with the water management agency, we can even artificially create those floods, which anyway happen each 10th year. So this is a flood form of river Hortobágy. And there's a huge, the water management agency calls it, the management body, for them it's a water reservoir, but for us a great opportunity where 80 million or up to 100 million cubic meters of water can be stored. And they needed to store it somewhere in the springtime, where actually the floods took place. The other thing is, we did a lot of projects. When we became the members of the EU, we have calculated how many channels and dikes and ditches we had in the park area, which were established mostly in the communist era. For rice production, for irrigation of pastures and hayfields. And the total count was 1,600 kilometers within the park area. So due to Life Plus structural fund projects in the park, we already eliminated more than 1,000 kilometers of these. So the water regime is in the most valuable places is okay. So it's fine. It's working well. It's working well without any human. Of course, those channels are still there, but by grazing, the surface will be okay within a few years. The water is very important.
So you just have to reintroduce the lion. You just have to reintroduce the lion. The Persian lion is extinct, but fortunately we have that predator. Although hunters and the sheep keepers, shepherds are not very happy with that. But the golden jackal is back in Hungary and back in our park, and we are very, very happy about that. And the whole area is, what I said, is managed by the national park, not only Pentezug, but the whole national park area means that we have the hunting rights in the area. So nobody is, and the jackals know that it's safe for them, which is not true for the foxes, where I've forgotten to mention in the human disturbances part that we have this vaccination project of the foxes, so the number went up like this, so we have to do something about it. I mean, professional hunters of the park, rangers, we fight against this because every population should be somehow regulated. Fox population was regulated by the rabies very effectively, but because of the human needs, I don't know whether they are real or not, but they did so. So this is also one of the human disturbances.